This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our supreme and master speakers, Omeji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Circuit Barrakill, Remy Asalia, Arcadia Lunashine, Alex Franco AV, Casey Schaefer, Azuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Nat Clay, Lily Black, AJ Brainswordson, Bob CC, Mikta Rappentau, Faris Gentoru, Sapa Chakwatol, Edwin, Umbral Wind, Quick Levin, Winebow Brood, Pamela Isley, Camille Grino, Face on Masher, Elenriel Maximus, Code Red No, Mira Miri, Bay Barbale, Suno Chicano, Celesto Notral, Lazy Boy, A Bag of Dragonite, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Storm Arrow, Tex, and Yowie Wowie. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 251. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today, of course, by Georgi Wiston and Rollo Amadeus Des.
Amadeus.
Welcome.
Amadeus.
Today is June 19th, 2021. Welcome, everyone. Episode 251. Today we'll be going through an interview with Yoshi-P by Famitsu. We still have a lot of interviews to go through, so it's just going to be... This is just how the episodes are going to be for the next few weeks. But we also have the date for Live Letter 65, and Georgi reminded me that we are only 4 live letters away from Live Letter 69. So...
So close.
That's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. So we'll talk about that. We'll also be reading MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Make sure you... I almost said make sure you catch that, but that's the post-show section that I'm coming to right now. We'll also be answering questions from the Syndicate. So make sure in the post-show... God, I'm messing it up. In the post-show, we'll be reading questions from the Syndicate. Make sure you catch that. All right. Some channel updates. Ceruleum Reactor, episode 3, will be out for the public on Monday. That's Monday.
Can you even remember one thing you talked about on
Well,
that?
I've edited it, Rollo, and
Oh, so that's not fair. Okay.
so yeah. Among the topics are, well, let's just say it has a main topic, I think, which is Star Wars. It is 3 months late though, so even after stuff had been removed, it still feels a little outdated. So sorry about that, but it'll be out on Monday. For the rest. For patrons, Supreme and Master, it is in the early access channel on the Discord. Okay, that is it for channel updates. Let's jump into recent events. So, yes, so Letter from the Producer Live Part 65, July 10th. July 10th, that is... I thought, okay, so July 10th, that's for Europe.
Yes.
For North America, it's July 9th. When
so it's a late night one.
Yeah. So when it's 2...
I mean, it's very late night for Lakeel.
It's 4:30 my time, which means it's like 10:30 your time, I think, PM?
Yeah, about 10 or 11.
Because we're 6 hours apart, so yeah. So I was very confused when I first saw this because I had the European times for the 14-hour stream in my mind, and then I saw the North American announcement which said the 9th. So I thought they were going to have the live letter on one day and then the 14-hour stream the day after, though that's very odd. But no, this is part of the 14-hour stream. In the second half of the show, producer and director Naoki Yoshida will be accompanied by Yosuke Saito and Yoko Taro, guest creators of Yorha Dark Apocalypse. The three will look back on the Alliance Raid series, as well as answer questions from the official forums. So there's a Q&A sesh, and the second part. So we know that that's going to be the main part of the live letter. They also mentioned...
You're ready for spoilers?
I don't care. I've been told that I don't have to care, and so I have accepted that I don't have to care. And I also, it's Yoko Taro, and he doesn't answer questions correctly. Like he will just we're not gonna get anything from him.
Yeah.
So patch 6.0 digest is the first part of the show, and then there's special guests.
Really?
Yeah. Show details.
I read it. I can read it. I'm just surprised.
Why? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's very early for a patch 6.0.
Yeah, I was
digest.
expecting data center visit to be mentioned here.
Oh,
I guess that might be under miscellaneous updates.
Yeah, or maybe they'll open with it. I don't know. It's odd for them to not mention it because that is the next patch. There's...
Well, no, it's the patch after next, actually.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Yes, and miscellaneous updates, which is probably all the merch that we can't buy. Or overpriced merch that we can buy. You can send in questions on the official forums. You know the deal. Go to the official forums, post your questions. Don't ask stupid questions. But I know that's
ask
gonna
about
fall on deaf
1.0.
ears. Don't ask about 1.0. Don't ask about... characters you want to date. I don't know. Stupid
Ask
questions.
about 1.0 and then mention Lucio specifically.
I will kill you if you do that. I will kill you. I will find you and I will kill you. Okay. So that's he has a big penis. In another story.
No. You don't get to just move on from that.
Yes, I can. June 22nd, there's an all worlds maintenance for patch 5.57. That's all we know about that patch.
What?
Yeah.
What's this patch supposed? Is it the Bosnia nerf patch or?
I hope so.
As good as guess at any. I don't know. We have no idea. There's nothing. This is happening.
You can probably get the upgrade token for the tome weapon now with coins.
Mm-hmm.
With near coins.
Possible. Yeah. It might be adjustments to stuff like that. Maybe they'll adjust relic stuff. Because have they
earlier
done any
phases?
That was unlocked.
Yeah. Savage unlock, yeah. Okay, it's like that last wrap up stuff for the patch, yeah. It's weird that it's not mentioning anything though. So that is on June 22nd from 7 a.m. BST to 11 a.m. BST. Whatever time that is in your region. And that's that. That's the next patch. I don't know if there's anything to add. That's it.
We can't really add much because they don't give us any information.
No. Okay, let's just, I guess, moving on to the main story.
It's gonna be a patch.
There's a patch, and it's coming. All right, let's jump into the interview with Famitsu. Interview by Famitsu. So I was waiting for the page to load. Yes, so this is translated by Ak Morning, which I think is a very clever name, very nice website. Yes, so it's with Naoki Yoshida. You should all know who that is.
Who?
Naoki Yoshida. He is credited as producer and director of the game.
Like the pasta, like Naki.
Gnocchi's not a pasta.
Gnocchi's not a pasta. That's like
Is it not?
potato or whatever.
Is
or
it?
something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a pasta like substitute.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pasta substitute. Okay, let's not. We're gonna upset the Italians again. We always upset the Italians. Okay, right. So let's just jump into the questions from Famitsu. Among all the melee jobs released for Final Fantasy, abbreviated as FF, so far, there are still many jobs that aren't implemented in Final Fantasy XIV. So we would like to know the reason behind the decision to implement Reaper in Final Fantasy XIV, which is so far an original job not seen anywhere. How do you feel? So I think we've had this discussion before, but because I feel like this is a thing that a lot of people still whine about, is that they don't like when they don't implement jobs that already exist, like when they're making up new jobs. This is, I know that it's not a popular take, and over the years, they've become less, like that group has shrunk dramatically. But I remember, what was the first job that was made for this game? Was that
Ninja?
Gun? No. Ninja exists in Final Fantasy.
Oh, the first.
Oh,
game
you mean the
Sorry,
first
that's
unique
like
one.
unique to 14. Astrologian, right?
Astrologian, yeah.
Because everyone thought, oh, but that's just a time mage. Everyone's like, time mage. Here's Astrologian. They're like, what the fuck?
People still want time mage.
I know. That's the same group that has been moaning every time they're like, oh, we want to make something new. They're like, no! Where's my fucking, I don't know, butt mage? Like, there's so many weird, like, people like crying out for jobs that exist in like spin-offs from like 1981.
Where the fuck is Chocobo Knight?
Yeah, right.
It's mine, for real.
Green mage, yeah, that's another one that a lot of people are. All the different color mages, like they all want all of them.
What are the weird jobs from like 12, like All Land?
Oh yeah, God, yes,
Ulan, and there's another one. They're like different words
They're
for
just different
things
words.
that already exist in this game.
Yeah.
Like samurai and
Breaker.
ninja.
Yeah.
Like Shikari is just ninja, I think.
Yeah. It's fun to see those people, but they always get. Well, this expansion they don't. They don't get a classic job paired with a unique one.
2 original ones for the first time, I think.
Yeah. I like it.
I mean, some of them might hold on to the fact that Sage is a class that has existed before, so maybe they can delude themselves.
Yeah,
or maybe
that's
they
true.
can delude themselves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because it is nothing like the Sage that we know, but yeah. At least they have the name. Yeah, I like it when they make, because I want them to implement jobs that make sense, not that they feel forced to put in. And I feel like that's what they're doing now. Okay, let's see what Yoshi-P has to say. Since the Final Fantasy series has been going on for 35 years now, there are still jobs that haven't seen any appearance. But I do think that in order to be able to keep expanding our content further as a social game under the MMORPG genre, if we are to overdo the arrangement for the jobs in order to fit them in an MMORPG setting, when they are jobs that are unique to Final Fantasy and yet tricky to deal with, the essence of the original job would be lost, and that's what I think of it. Yeah, that was a big problem. I remember even when people were like, "Oh, we're finally gonna get Red Mage," but then immediately the fear started to spread. Like, how is Red Mage gonna fit into 14? What have we done? Careful what you wish for.
I mean, look at Blue Mage.
Yeah, look at Blue Mage.
People are still like super salty about Blue Mage.
Never forget the announcement.
It's still crazy to me, but
Yeah,
Blue Mage is very fun as it is. So
yes,
get over it.
Yeah. But God, that announcement, I will never forget when we covered that. The dead silence when they were like, limited job, and people were like, what? And there was just awkward silence spreading. Oh, God, it almost doesn't feel real. Okay. Of course, there are voices asking us to implement the jobs that have appeared in earlier Final Fantasy titles, but I had to consider whether I could properly bring over the experience and impression from the original to Final Fantasy XIV. What we must do is to ensure whether we can improve at an interest in. Sorry, hold on. What we must do is to ensure whether we can provide an interesting game experience. I got through that. In case we end up forcefully implementing jobs for the sake of evoking players' nostalgia and end up the result being completely different from the memories, it will end up not only unbeneficial to the game as a whole, but also ended up doing a disservice to the original job as well. Therefore, regardless of now or the future, I believe original jobs will become more common instead. Both of the new jobs, SoH, where we announced the other day, as well as the recently announced Reaper, were the results of serious deliberation, and thus we're in the process of making them jobs that are unique to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, I like that. They're sort of possibly making like this is the thing that I think the Final Fantasy purists dislike, is that when you're making original jobs in like an official Final Fantasy title, you are forcing it into like the history of Final Fantasy, right? Reaper is now a Final Fantasy job. SoH is now, well, technically already was, but they've remade it into like a more, this one is obviously going to be the more popular interpretation of SoH, right? So now that is SoH. It's like, I remember people's, like the way people have reacted to that is similar to how people react. I'm going to bring up, this is very strange, but you'll get it. If you get it, you get it. Doctor Who.
Okay.
Every time there's a new showrunner, right, they want to put their mark on history. So maybe someone who's currently, I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but maybe at some point someone got a little crazy and they were like, I'm going to change everything and I'm going to do that. I am Doctor Who man. And I think that's what that little group is thinking. It's that Yoshi-P's like, I am Final Fantasy man, and he will like remake. I will make all the jobs now. I don't think that's the case, and even so, okay, that's how this game works. As someone made all the other jobs.
There's mine, okay?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter anymore. There's mine.
There's mime. Yeah. So
still waiting for Mime Tank. Thank you very much.
Okay. Right. By the way, about the Reaper job, we want to know there are points we need to. We want to know if there are points we need to take notes. Sorry, what is this sentence? We want to know there are points we need to take note about the job, and how is this job different from the others? We received a lot of voices from our fans, especially among them, among the Western players, asking for a job that wields the scythe. We've heard this answer before. I feel like this is one that he has. This is a practiced response, because this is literally the third interview where he says the same thing. I'm going to jump over that first part. So we came up with the
keep asking them the same question.
Yeah, yeah. So we came up with the idea of accumulating a certain gauge by attacking and fusing with the summoned avatar itself while fighting. I apologize for the idea that sounds like it's thought up by an 8th grader, but laughs. Okay, I was able to embody the feeling of maximizing the player's tension as the battle went on with Reaper, so I thought it's good. After that, we examined whether this idea would truly work as a system, and it went surprisingly well. It was unanimously decided upon. The scythe is also easy to visualize on the graphics side as well, so that's what we're currently working on right now. Do you like that he's sort of throwing shade on the Western players here? It's like the Western players really want to decide. Sorry if I sound like a fucking 8th grader right now. It's like,
I think that refers to the Avatar thing, which no one asked for.
Right, that's true. That's true. But yeah, it's just interesting that he constantly has to bring up, this is a Western thing. Don't blame me. This is the West.
We would have picked fucking sumo over
Yeah,
here, you know?
yeah. Yeah. So nothing to add to that. Is literally the same answer that he always gives. With the Death Scythe being included as part of the bonus items for purchasing the Collector's Edition and so on, the Scythe as a weapon seems to be taking its inspiration from Final Fantasy XI, and it's interesting to see how much of the two-handed Scythe weapon skills seen in 11, such as Guillotine, Cross Reaper, specifics that would please Final Fantasy XI fans will be available. Yeah, this is a gift. I guess that's true. So Reaper is interesting because it'll probably annoy the group that I talked about, but also please them in a way, because these are probably the same people that were like, Dark Knight should use scythes! And now they're like, well, we have Dark Knight, and now we kind of have the scythe, and we have all the moves, so maybe, you know, they'll find some joy in that, I guess. Right. We're currently at the stage of creating skills and adjusting them at the same time. There are many members currently working on Final Fantasy XIV, originally from the Final Fantasy XI development team. So it's a given that players will be seeing some form of homage implemented. Homage. We've talked about this before, how I had a friend that would constantly say homage, and I'm like, this doesn't sound right. I do think the Final Fantasy XIV team has been doing their job in giving its proper respect to the jobs and actions that appeared in the series up until now, while rearranging them to fit Final Fantasy XIV. So we're retaining the same working method here. On the other hand, we try to avoid disappointing our players by shaking off the focus on original elements. On the balance side, while we're still under the COVID situation here, we're planning on delivering the job experience by conducting a media tour just like the ones we had so far, and hope to be able to show all our players how the jobs have transformed, including existing jobs as well.
Has anyone ever been like disappointed about a job being in game? Kind of like how like Smash people are like, it's a wasted slot. It's fucking, you didn't add Springle Bingo in the game. But like, I don't think I've ever seen someone go like, fucking Samurai was added. How dare they?
I think the angriest people might have been was when Dancer was revealed as a not healer.
Yes, that was annoying to a lot of people. There was like some initial annoyance about Ninja being a DPS, because in 11 the meta was Ninja being a shadow tank. But that was never intended.
But that wasn't.
So
yeah,
they changed. I mean, it became that is the meta in 11 now. But
they threw you guys a bone though, and they gave you that one shadow wall, or whatever. It's not shadow wall.
Right. Shirk.
It's just
no,
not
the
Shirk.
other one.
The one that's
not Shirk.
It's just a shield now.
Yeah. That one. Okay. Yes. So. Yeah, I don't think there's been any job that people have been like, boo.
Yeah. Man. Fuck Dark Knight.
Yeah, Blue made us limited job, obviously, I guess.
Oh yeah, Blue, but I mean like a full normal job.
No, I don't think so. I think people have been pretty okay.
You mentioned is the media tour. How do you think that's gonna go?
Well, it can't be much of a tour these days.
No.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe things will change.
Well, things are opening up very rapidly now, so I wonder if maybe. Well,
in
I say
some
that
countries.
Some countries.
I can do whatever I want, so I can go whatever media tour I feel like. Can't stop me.
Well, it depends on when the media tour is. At some point, surely.
Yeah.
I will be vaccinated.
It'll probably
will
be
vaccinated as well.
September-ish.
I don't remember when the media tour was last time, but yeah, it's just a couple of months before release, I think. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Okay. You mentioned that Reaper will have a specific gauge earlier. So does that mean the specific is set so that the avatar will possess the player after the gauge is filled? Yoshida says, I can't say for sure considering not all specs have been completely finalized. The basic idea is to build up the gauge as you attack, and once it's filled completely, you then assimilate your avatar at the right timing, and that's the basic gist of the job. However, this is just our estimation so far, and we're still in the process of verifying whether or not it'll work when it comes to player experience. So we'd like you to take it as just an image concept of the job for now. Just the image.
Man, they developed some of these jobs kind of late, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they got, their own schedule and cycle that makes sense, but it's like weird to be like, this game's out like by the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
We're still deciding how this job works.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. It doesn't sound like they are very far ahead with that.
I feel as if they know what they want. They're just trying to decide the balance between how the job gauge will work and how it'll combine with working with the avatar.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Okay.
I think it sounds like they're just like talking numbers to me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. Will the avatar itself be different from a summoner's Eggy or a machinist's automaton? Yes, it will be different. The Reaper, once again, is not a pet job. Since our policy is to deliver a different game experience for each job for 14, if you are to ask us whether the job would be a machinist when it's not a pet job, then our answer will be it's different. So we are exactly working on it right now in order to achieve the goal of delivering various game experiences.
I don't know. That answer gives me flashbacks to when he was describing Eureka as it's not diadem.
Yeah. Okay. Are there several types of avatars? No. As expected, we have restrictions or regulations on the graphic side. Spaghetti. So we can only afford one single avatar type. As I have mentioned in the development panel held today, we are restricted on how much we can allow for textures and polygons that can be stored in one character, so they are all strictly regulated. In addition to the dynamic movements, the models and textures for avatars are packed to its limit. So if I were to request for 5 different types of avatars, the designer would ask me to change the regulations. Well, change the regulations.
Yeah, give me like a one that's Baja Blast colored.
Yeah.
Be like a sickly green, slightly radioactive.
Since there is only one avatar, we instead made sure the job is designed to be dynamic when it fuses with the avatar. Also, the appearance of each race when they fuse with an avatar will be different, so they won't all look the same. We've done our best to keep the individuality of the player character intact, so I hope you'll look forward to it. Well, that's interesting.
That actually sounds... Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I think you see it a little bit in the trailer with the was it the Dragon Girl that does it?
Yeah.
I think you get like a little billowing cape kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
pretty
call
cool.
it a dragon girl?
Dragon
You know
Girl.
what I mean?
Aura. He's talking about
You know,
Aura.
okay, I guess I'll never say cat girl ever again.
Yeah. It's okay to say cat girl, but dragon girl, that's where
That's-
Jorgen draws the line.
No.
How fucking dare you? You will refer to them as Aura.
Mikote don't like being called cat people.
They're not real.
The fuck? Okay. I forgot what we were even talking about. Oh yes, I think he's giving a bit of a bullshit answer as well about the different avatars not being available because of, what was it? Polygons that can be stored in one character.
I mean, that makes sense. I'm sure you just
I
can't.
think that makes sense, to be honest.
That's
I think
what
they
you
can only
want to
dedicate.
I think it can be changed.
I think it. I don't know because of how Spaghetti the game is.
But we don't
I
know,
don't know.
how spaghetti. He's giving us the impression sometimes that the game is like a literal bowl of spaghetti. You just open it up and it's just this pulsating mess of spaghetti. But other times it's like, yeah, we can add that. And then we're like, but the spaghetti. And he's like, no. There's just spaghetti over there. Over here, just one noodle. We just move it to the side.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I don't think, because of how the game is constructed, unfortunately, they can kind of they don't want us to know where the limit is.
I think it's similar. He doesn't want to talk about this because then we will start asking about the eggy glamours again that they promised that we never got.
Well,
And
I
then he's
don't
like, no,
think
but spaghetti, and we're like, oh, okay,
See,
pasta.
The eggy glamours are a different thing because I think that they might not even be relevant moving into 6.0 based on what they've said about the changes to Summoner.
Because they don't want it to be real. But for 2 expansions, people were still waiting for the eggy glamours that they talked about in A Realm Reborn.
It's so fucked up because they're already in game too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We know that they answered about the eggy glamours, but when did they do that, chat? How long did it take before they finally put the nail in the coffin? A long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Just saying.
I'm
just saying that the Avatar thing is dancing very close to the same issue that they had with the eggy glamours. They're like, let's close this lid so that there's no chance. Like, because if they started having like multiple avatars, people would be expecting more avatars, you know, as they raise the cap and get new skills. They're like, are we going to get a new avatar this expansion? And they'll have to say no every time, and then people will get upset, like the eggy glamours.
I think that they'll tie the Avatar's appearance into the lore of the job anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that
I
it will
mean,
not make
obviously,
sense for there to be only one.
they'll do that, of course. But remember, they write the lore. That's what I'm saying. That's why
Yeah.
he said. That's why can't he just say doesn't make sense? Why does he always have to give us these weird like, well, there's too many polygons? It's like, okay. Okay, Yoshi-P,
You ever
that's fine.
try making a polygon?
I'm just as someone who's read a lot of Yoshi-P,
triangle.
we've read a lot.
I know.
We've read-
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand that this is like it reads like Yoshi-P's spin, but I can also understand what he's saying here.
Well, because that's why he's so clever. Because he will say stuff, and you'll go, "That makes
That's why he's so
sense."
clever.
Yeah, he is clever. He is. He gets away with it
I
because
don't-
he says
no,
that.
I
because
know. I
Then you
agree.
go,
But
"Yeah,
also,
I can see it
don't
makes
think
sense."
everything he says makes sense.
That's also very true. Not everything lands with Yoshi-P. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, but in stuff like this though, he's very good because he can just say, "We cannot store this many polygons on this character," but because we know that it's fucking spaghetti, we're like, yeah. Okay.
To answer chat brought up earlier that they feared that carbuncles would disappear. I don't think they will because they haven't really talked about any changes to scholars, so there should still be a pet system in the game, even if there are significant changes to summoner.
Yeah. That's true. What's left would be whether it's a pure or support type DPS, and we're really interested to know about this. Yoshida says, we have a rough idea of which direction we're going with this, but I don't think we're at the point where we can tell you about it yet. We'll definitely set up a future venue, and we'll have the chance to explain further about the battles on a later date, so I hope you'll be able to probe further once we get there. Yeah, see, again, it doesn't know. But there you go.
I know roughly, but it's not going to be samurai, surely.
No.
There'd be a selfish DPS, honestly. I could see it doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think we need two completely selfish DPSs in the game.
What else is a support DPS? Safe for like samurai? Maybe. No, they all are.
Yeah.
Well, Black Mage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Mage is it'd be weird if we get two selfish melee DPSs though.
That's true. Yeah, we'll see. We saw the announcement of the male Vieira earlier today, but prior to this announcement, we haven't seen their appearances anywhere in the Final Fantasy series. Is their design original to Final Fantasy XIV? Yes, that's correct. This incarnation of Vieira is created by the Final Fantasy XIV development team here, so we'll be happy if you can try them out once implemented. However, as what we've answered in our media interviews during the announcements of Shadowbringers, we did indeed plan to stop working on new races after announcing the implementation of female Vieira and male Hrothgar on patch 5.0. Of course, we do want to create new races, but the addition of new races would require a huge amount of resources for it to work. We will have to multiply every piece of equipment rewards by the number of races made for it, which simply affects the time it takes to deliver a patch. However, we hear voices from all around the world saying they want to play as male Vieira or female Hrothgar with their own hands. Or how they think the Final Fantasy XIV team is capable of creating male versions of Beast-type races that are different from Mikote. Furthermore, the graphics team also told me, while we really can't do two races here, but I think Yoshida-san really wants to do it, maybe we can start with one race. And so we started looking into it and examined the chances of making it a reality. We really struggled in how to establish the existence of male Vieira when we ourselves have not seen how they looked beforehand, and truth be told, initially I did think we should implement female Hrothgar along with male Vieira at the same time as well. However, the workload required to have both races implemented simultaneously on the next expansion after Endwalker is not much different than implementing one race at a time starting Endwalker. So we thought of announcing that we will definitely work on the implementation of female Hrothgar and allow players to have access to male Vieira in Endwalker First Hand. This would end up beneficial to the health of Final Fantasy XIV in the long run, and this is why we took the decision to implement male Vieira first.
Yeah, it makes sense to go with male Vieira first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to do
not
one,
not lore-wise.
Lore-wise,
no.
I think, yeah. I think maybe female Hrothgar would make more sense. It's weird that we did... We've just
it's
completed a
weird that
storyline that is very heavily like it talks about female Hrothgars a lot. Gunhildr was a female Hrothgar. And now
we saw
yeah.
a mosaic that had like 10 female Hrothgar and one Rogadin woman, and we saw the one Rogadin woman.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's weird, but I mean that story is technically over now, so now it doesn't matter. I guess male Vieira
And also,
is fine.
there's no law explanation for the scarcity of female Hrothgar.
No.
They should be relatively common.
Especially on the first two. Like, Brunar has a wife, or had a wife.
Yeah.
No, not Runar.
Not Runar.
The other
Magnus.
one. Yeah, Magnus. Yeah.
Yeah, Magnus.
Magnus. Yeah.
He had a wife, and it's like, well, I know she's dead, but like, can I see her?
Yeah.
Is there like a picture somewhere?
Yeah.
Can you guys take pictures here?
I have this picture right here. Can I see it? No.
I also love that in the is it the Lubrin Reginae or whatever, there's statues of just lions. Just female lions. It's like, okay. I guess that's as close as we'll get. Okay. While the male Vieira is a race rarely seen according to what's been set by the lore, with them playable as a character, does this mean we will see the appearance of male Vieira NPCs as well? Of course, I'm not saying the possibility is zero. However, even if we consider how they are rarely seen on the eyes of the players due to their rarity, we have to ensure that we are creating them based on the given setting, and if we are, for example, told to massively populate male Vieiras and create a paradise of male Vieiras, to justify their appearance, I don't think we can actually make this happen. We have to ensure that their appearance will follow exactly what has been set in order for them to appear in the world of Final Fantasy XIV.
Paradise of male Vieira.
Yeah. Ooh la la.
I mean, I don't expect them to make like a entire town of them or something. That wouldn't make sense, but
no. But they're gonna do what they did with Male Mikode and Aura. It's like they just appear. They're gonna be around as NPCs. That's just how it'll be. Yeah.
I can definitely see one possibly turning up in one of the role quests, or also like maybe one being on the Charlian Council, since they have no like prejudice against any race.
True. Yeah, that's possible. Okay.
Chat can't see it, but can we talk about like fucking luminescent the render of the male Vieira they have is in this article?
Oh my god, he's blinding.
Oh my god, it's the same color as the background.
Skin.
Yeah.
Get that boy some sunscreen. He's gonna die.
Oh my god.
Shine a flashlight, he turns to ash or something.
He'll go outside in the sun and he's like red immediately. Just burning red. Okay.
Shine a flashlight through his stomach, it'll see the light come straight through.
Oh. Okay, for this expansion, I believe you've mentioned several times that the overall volume of this expansion becomes really large. Although, I believe this also depends on the players as well. Do you think there will be any changes in the playtime to complete the main scenario as compared to the previous expansions? Yoshi-P says, we're still in the middle of development here, so we don't have any confirmations, but if we are to judge on the feeling of what we're working on right now, it definitely feels a lot longer. The cutscenes and voices recorded for this expansion is no doubt the largest ever, and in many ways there are many elements that can't be removed when we try to deliver a satisfying conclusion to the Hydaelyn and Zodiark arc. For both players and us as well. I really do hate that. I want to say just the conclusion to the Hydaelyn and Zodiark. But people will be very upset with me if I do that. Even so, the form of satisfaction is what we actually are pursuing right now. Therefore, while we initially targeted an earlier release date for this expansion, we had to deliver the reason behind changing our release date and made it the 23rd of November 2021 in order to deliver an expansion to everyone in a perfect condition. Although this may be done at the convenience of our developers, with the trust system implemented at 5.0, you are now required to always keep the Scion members around you, which then a group can be established no matter the player's role when entering a dungeon.
This was actually something we didn't foresee beforehand. So, for example, during Heavensward or Stormblood, we had situations where the players and the Scions go separate ways in order to fulfill their mission, and the dungeons are usually challenged only by the Warriors of Light. Although what the Scions did behind the scenes are usually reported after, but in a way we don't see the need to portray the same situation anymore this time, which is why starting Shadowbringers, we see everyone tagging along. Of course, we get to have dialogues when you approach them, and you get to have a short conversation with them, and we see the increase of cast appearances during cutscenes and as the result of this change. This means we need to increase the amount of character acting in one cutscene, along with the increase of character amount, and of course, if we just made them talk casually, it'll just end up boring, so we have to include some form of acting in them. So even if we don't increase the amount of scenes, the acting, however, increases in proportion to such changes, so this contributed to the reason for the volume increase. It was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was a
mouthful
lot.
right there.
Yeah.
I think you can already kind of see this in 5.55, considering like Gra has one voiced line in 5.55.
Yeah.
He's kind of just there for most of it.
Yeah. This is why it is so very likely that Endwalker is where this group is split up somehow, so that the cast can be shrunk down again.
I see. His explanation here makes me think that might not happen, actually, because they would need to program new trusts moving forward, which is time-consuming for them. So they might want to keep around the Scions as they are right now, just to save programming time.
Yeah, that's true. But he says that like after 6.0, there's new story. We don't know how the new story structure works. So maybe we will get new people introduced that is not the Scions,
but control exactly the same.
But they control exactly the same. They fill the same roles. That's an easy way. Just reskin them. And just throw in some new voice lines. You've done it.
Well, you know? I agree. I think it would be boring if all the like other trusts we have are just exactly the same class as we already have.
They don't have to be the same class, but I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it could be similar enough.
Yeah.
Where you could reuse a lot of assets or whatever.
Yeah, they can make them all-rounders, for all I care. I don't care. It's... I mean, that sounds like the easiest option, almost. Because, yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. How do you feel about this expansion being longer? Like...
It's exciting.
I think it's fitting, because it's the end of the whole story. So I would be very sad if they like rushed through this one. Like this is perhaps the most important expansion this game has ever had since like Heavensward, because it was the first one.
That's true.
I hope it's not bad. That's all. If it's like long and boring, he did say that that's what they're working on. Like they don't want that to be the case in the cutscenes and stuff. I don't want them to just like drag it out just to drag it out, just to be like, "Whoa, what's coming out that corner? Hold on, go pick up some eggs, and then we'll check around the corner." Just they'll stay there for a bit. I hope they don't do stuff like that, but I feel like they haven't done that in a long time. So,
and I also feel like they've got a lot they need to wrap up, such that they won't necessarily have to rely on filler.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So I mean, we get more bang for our buck. So I like that. Okay. Indeed, we saw ourselves getting closer to the members of the Scions throughout Shadowbringers. Since we just progressed the plot naturally, so we didn't consider the cost it would take from the developer's side, but this certainly gave us an insight after listening to it. Oh yeah, this is like a classic, I say this every time, this is how you know it's a Japanese interview, when they give like feedback to an answer. They're like, "Oh yes, I have learned so much from the answer you just gave." Especially now that you're seeing a grand gathering here, I believe you can feel the same seeing how it went from the trailer, where the music is also a compilation of all the familiar songs released thus far, with all sorts of characters making their appearances in the game. So I hope you will look forward to it and enjoy it as much as we did. All the hard work we spent made the work we've created far more interesting here. Yeah, I mean, the music is great in the trailer. I hope they all, they're all short bits,
Oh god, the Stormblood one sticks out so much.
Yeah.
I love it, but it's just like it's just some man shouting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, and I love the Charlian theme as well. There's a lot of good. Oh, it's all of it is good. Okay. By the way, it was surprising to see the appearance of Ritra. Wait, how do we say her name again? Ritra. One of the first brood. Ritra.
There you go.
One of the first
This is
brood
actually
in the
spelt
trailer.
incorrectly, by the way.
Yeah, that's what's fucking me up because there's no I.
I.
Yeah. We saw the release of Tiamat, who was previously sealed from Asisla as well, and we would like to know if we can also expect Azdaia, another one of the first brood to appear in Endwalker, as well as elements that are not related to Hydaelyn and Zodiark to make their appearance as part of the grand gathering as well. Yeah, that's one thing that I'm very excited about, because there's a lot of characters and a lot of things that are mentioned that is very deeply tied to the story that started in A Realm Reborn, or technically 1.0, like the end of 1.0 storyline. So I wonder, let's see what he says. Also, every time I read Vritra's name, I can't not unhear what Estinian says in the trailer. I'm not going to say it. The hour has come. I said just that was what he said. Oh, you haven't seen the meme, Rello?
No, I guess not.
No one.
Don't tell him. Don't say it on
You're
stream.
ruining. You're ruining the.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, this is a podcast, everyone. Don't say anything. Actually, even though I mentioned the word Grand Gathering, doesn't mean we'll forcefully include. Huh? Sorry, Jesus. Actually, even though I mentioned the word Grand Gathering, doesn't mean we'll forcefully include whatever elements that haven't made its appearance in the game. Although by sheer luck, in the Welcome to Naoki's Room corner held earlier, I do think our players managed to find out what we have in store for the expansion when whoever this is, Ryun Suk, whatever who is this? Ryunosuke Kamiki and I had a conversation about the appearance of characters, saying things like, "You brought this guy here for the fun of it," or "This just popped out." Rather, when it comes to talking about the deep history between humans and dragons, we've seen how two races of humans and dragons bonded together as seen in Heavensward, and in order to reiterate how those bonds are created in something we can't leave out when it comes to portraying those races. And then, if we are to convey that point, we still need one of the dragons of the first brood to shoulder the role, and we will have to build based on that point. So to deliberate on whether it's necessary or not is the main reason for the choice. Yeah, that's another point. I don't want them to just bring in characters just to be like a parade, like, oh, and here's this person, has nothing to say and no relevance to the story, but there he is.
He's chilling. Look at him.
I mean, it makes sense to bring in the dragons and
The last
their
dragon
story.
will probably just be over in the New World.
Yes. In the New World. Why not Mericidia?
Well, we have because Tiamat belongs. That Tiamat and Bahamut were the ones that made their home in the New World, and they never made mention of a third one being there.
No, you mean Mericidia.
Yeah, Mericidia.
Yeah. So in other words, the appearance of Vritra in the story is an inevitable one. That's right. I think it's something our players did not really see coming, but we do have a lot of stories to tell about Vritra here, so we would like you to look forward to it as well.
A lot of stories. More than one.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I think this is producer speak.
Yeah, it is.
There
Although
will be things to look forward to. Watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay. Although we are delving into the conclusion of the Hydaelyn and Zodiark arc, we definitely see the possibility of the story continuing and how it will proceed beyond 6.0, 7.0, 8.0, and more. I would like to know the reason behind ending the story arc here. What did you say, Georgi?
8.0.
Yeah.
We're ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. This is mainly personal, but as much as I'm a person who creates games, at the same time, I'm also a consumer as well. So I'm a person who really grew up impacted by various works throughout my life. Since I have otaku tendencies, I tend to get really absorbed by the works I play.
I like how he says otaku tendencies. I like how he avoided calling himself an otaku.
Mhm.
Not one of those fucking filth.
So when
I'm
I
just like them.
so when
He does actually say later on that.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
a-
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when I watch anime or movies, there are some works where I tend to think how much better that work would have been if we have that sort of climax at this part instead of that section as well. Of course, I understand the circumstances behind it, but considering I'm an otaku, I like to delve deeper into that aspect. Laughs. On the other hand, I thought Final Fantasy XIV was initially supposed to end the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc at patch 7.0, but considering how Shadowbringers had laid out 75% of the entire plot point to the players, I truly felt that everyone had reached the same level of excitement that I had felt as a consumer. And so I thought, perhaps I don't need to cool down my heated up feelings here.
That's a very Japanese expression translated in English. It doesn't work very well.
Cool down my heated up feelings.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
If that's the case, I thought that I'd aim to...
Neketsu. Hmm.
If that's the case, I thought that I'd aim to deliver the first climax that everyone wants to see at patch 6.0. The reason why I deliberately mention the conclusion of the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc here is because if I keep stating the continuation here, and I risk everyone feeling just how long will that continue here? What am I reading? If I keep stating the continuation here, and I risk everyone feeling, quote, just how long will that continue, end quote, here, don't you think? Laughs. Is that a sentence?
I mean, it is. I don't. It's not a.
Does it mean anything?
You can get the feeling of it.
Bling, blang, bong, bling, blong could be a sentence, but it doesn't mean anything. I feel like I read nothing. Which is why I purposefully make clear that I think it's because the translation it gets a little strange sometimes. Which is why I purposefully make clear that this is going to be the end of the story surrounding Hydaelyn and Zodiac. Not to mention, this is also what the development members mentioned as well. It's the last, so let's strike an end to this, they said. When it comes to stories in the Final Fantasy series, most stories would enter the climax point when the story is about 75% done. So the remaining 20% would see that's interesting math. So the remaining 20% would see the stories entering the territory of something like the Earth starts floating up, or the world turned into something abnormal that made you feel as if the world is ending. That 20% left of that portion is what Endwalker would be, which is then repackaged into one full expansion, and that is the challenge that we're undertaking, as well as the game in the form of entertainment. Since stories like this are only possible when it comes to MMORPG, we would like to give our all and do our best. That is the concept. Therefore, to the players, our message to them is to witness the first ending of our story, and then we'll continue our journey once that is said and done.
Where's Yoshi-P?
Yeah, 5% seems to be missing. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, makes sense. Nothing to add to that, really.
This
Yeah.
was a confusing answer.
Yeah.
A little bit worded weirdly, but you know.
Yeah. With the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc ending in patch 6.0, we know the patches will continue into 6.1, 6.2, and beyond. But what will be illustrated there? A new story will begin. Of course, the main character will be the player once again, the hero that is the Warrior of Light. Will it be told as part of the story for Endwalker? Oh, no. No.
I mean,
It makes sense.
imagine if the protagonist of the game wasn't the Warrior of Light anymore.
Right, yeah. If that's the case, will the title change after patch 6.1? Well, I do wonder. Laughs. Everyone laughs.
Don't just laugh about that. That's a good question.
However, I think when it comes to how we deliver that content, it will depend on the tension developed after finishing Endwalker. In other words, when I do my producer and director check on the content and play the game from the perspective of a player, the image of, I definitely think other players would think that way, so this is how we should deliver our content from 6.1 onwards will become obvious, I reckon. Currently, I haven't gone through such experience yet, so once our development advances further, I'll be able to come out with further ideas about it. Yeah.
Those are gonna be some real growing pains moving from this arc.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already had side stories that are like, entirely different things, not related to to Zodiac and Eidolon, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be weird not having that at least blooming in the background.
It's going to be strange. Yeah, go on.
I think we'll be able to have some degree of continuity because of the fact that the Bosnia storyline obviously has to continue.
Yeah, that's true.
And assumedly, Gabrant won't have the specter of old Garlemald over his shoulder anymore.
True. Yeah, the world will be different after this, though. Like all of the without, like you said, without Garlemald. Well, we don't know what's going to happen to Garlemald because there might be a new Garlemald. The Republic of Garlemald might grow out of that again, but yeah, a friendly Garlemald. That's going to be weird.
If a Republic of Garlemald existed, I'd be curious as to how that would affect Gabrant's motivations.
Right.
Because he only really sort of wanted to split away from Garlemald because it was going in a bad direction.
Yeah. But he has the whole... and I wonder, because we know that Princess Ash is still alive. So
yes,
that means that once Garlemald falls, the kingdom of Dalmasca can technically be restored again, right? Because she's still alive.
Well, technically, but Dalmasca is the part that is still under Gabrant's control.
That's the thing. That's the complication here. Like, is he gonna... So that's an interesting storyline. It looks like we're... Yeah?
Ooh. What if Gabrant ends up being Ash's... what's it called? Bash.
Dad.
In this world.
Oh my god, he becomes like her royal knight. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Next question. This is about the Island Sanctuary, but you've announced that we'll be able to play the content without having to be a crafter or gatherer. You can. This particular relaxing life content that carries the name of Unmanned Island Sanctuary development...
What a deaf name.
Is not only about fighting monsters, but also about taking care of them. Bringing animals from all over Eorzea, and one can even have fun just watching them as well. Oh yeah.
I didn't know there was any monster fighting involved in the Island Sanctuary. Thank you very much.
No.
This is where Beastmaster lives.
God, that's what I started thinking when I read it. I'm like, is this linked to like Beastmaster? That'd be interesting. Or maybe Beastmaster gets like something out of this.
Imagine that. You can have beasts, but you can only bring them out in the Island Sanctuary.
Yeah.
The monkey's paw curls once more.
I would assume the image is different from the content where you can level your crafters and gatherers. Of course. Oh, you know what? For the live letter, I hope they're going to talk about this. Because literally there's been like we know nothing other than the artwork for Island Sanctuary. Of course, we'll try to make it easy for players to get involved in life-related content, such as crafters and gatherers, as they play, and we'll definitely create something that can easily lead to this. However, as you mentioned in your question, this would mean you're required to unlock the classes, and some people may not want to do so you can still enjoy the game without having to unlock them. There may be elements in the content that you can benefit from having a gatherer or crafter, but for this content, we've eliminated as many competitive factors as possible. And the idea is to let people collect anything they want at their own pace and feel relaxed when playing the content. Okay.
It better be relaxing. It better be, or else I'll be very upset.
It's still very vague.
It's going to be stressful to you, Rollo. It's going to be like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it's going to be stressful as Animal Crossing for you.
If I feel pressured to do things, I won't like it.
You mentioned that you received an unexpectedly strong response, but how much of a response did you expect initially? I expected, is that so? I'm pretty much that, I guess. Really? Really?
Really? You expected no intrigue at all? We wanted to make this content and we expected no interest from the audience.
Just put it in there so you guys could hate it.
Yeah.
Mm.
In Japan, there are many players who like to collect things at a steady pace. That's precisely why they have loved playing with data since the Famicom era. And I love
Data.
And I love doing that as well. When it comes to Europe and the US, however, you know, the shitty people, I feel that many people would prefer the people that like sites and think like 8th graders. I feel that many people would prefer content that is action-based and want results as quickly as possible. The shitty, filthy people. That's why I thought that it would be difficult for this type of content to be popular abroad. But even so, I also think it wouldn't be right to just leave that kind of content aside. So I believe having to prepare content where things can be played differently would enrich the Final Fantasy XIV world here. However, I did not expect the response from both Europe and the US to be huge after I announced it. I mean, of course, this type of content would be known in Japan as Dash Village, Dash Mura, and this would be the trend that attracts responses from variety show directors. Laughs. Everyone laughs.
Oh, that's not explained.
No.
Dash Mora. What the hell is this?
I don't know what this is.
Is
I
it-
feel like there are so many other points of reference that I think
Was
he
he
could have
too
referenced that I
afraid
would
to
have
mention?
understood.
Was he too afraid to say Animal Crossing? Did he not want to say that?
He could have said like Stardew Valley or what's
Harvest
what's
Moon.
the fucking Harvest Moon. Thank you. I couldn't remember its name.
Okay, a Dash Village. What is that? A Dash Village. Apparently,
It's probably. I mean, we can imagine what it's like. It's like Harvest Moon knockoff, probably, right? I would.
Well, then why do you mention variety show directors?
I don't know. Something. Well, there's more bashing of Europe here, and the US.
they deserve it.
Yeah.
We deserve it.
When it comes to having interviews, it's so interesting. This part, I think, I think it's interesting every time he talks about Europe and the US because he's always surprised by our responses to things. Like he has this like very narrow view of what we like, and every time we like show that, you know, we kind of like other things as well. He's like, "Oh, shocking. What?" So yeah, he continues. When it comes to having interviews with US and European media, the interviewer will always ask something along the lines of, there are many players out there who would definitely look forward to the Island Sanctuary, so we would like to know what kind of content it is, and so on. So this is precisely why they would ask us whether players can enjoy content without being a gatherer or crafter. The project for Island Sanctuary has been conceived for quite a while and has progressed since, but as seen in Animal Crossing, here we go, New Horizons, players can connect with each other during the COVID period and enjoy the content together without rushing through and at their own pace, and I feel that this is precisely why there is a tendency for such games to be highly regarded that way, although I haven't really had read deep into this yet, which is why I am under a bit of pressure here. Bitter laugh. Yeah?
The island is so big.
Oh, okay. So I figured out the Dash Village thing. This is definitely a Japanese thing. It's like, so there's a variety show called the Tetsuwan Dash, which is like, I don't know if it's still running. It's like a 1998 variety show. But apparently there was, I guess, a challenge or an episode where they have a boy band create a farm from scratch, calling it a Dash Village.
In real life?
Yeah. That's what I got.
Funny.
That's what I got for
Sounds-
you. And I think apparently, I guess it's like a secretive. No one knew where the village was. I don't know. It's like a.
Okay. Interesting.
Precursor to a reality show?
Yeah, like this. This does not translate at all to like.
It sounds like The Simple Life with like Paris Hilton.
Oh, yes.
where they send celebrities out to figure out like quaint life.
Yeah. Okay, lastly, we would like you to deliver your message for those who are enjoying digital. This is going to be delayed. This is for the Digital Fan Fest. And you know what? He's already said this. Thanks for watching. Is essentially what he's saying. It's been a hard time during COVID. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in real life next time. Yep, there you go. That is that's the interview with Famitsu, translated by Ack Morning. Good interview. There's a lot of empty Yoshi-P answers, as usual, as you'd expect. Some Western prejudice, the usual.
If I'd say prejudice, just lack of understanding.
Lack of understanding this many years in is weird, but yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just looking at more Dashboard stuff. That is, they had to. First off, look at these fucking like old like 90s Japanese singers. Like their boy band called Tokyo, and they had to stop it unfortunately because
I think Tokyo still exists.
I think Tokyo still exists. Is that
the
what you
band
just
was-
said?
it's-
Oh,
it's
the band.
T-O-K. Yeah, it's Tokio, Tokyo.
I didn't. Okay, that's the name of the band. I thought you just genuinely said, "I think Tokyo still exists." I'm like,
But,
the
I'm pretty
band,
sure
yeah.
Tokyo still exists.
They
Okay.
had to stop though because of the earthquake in Japan that had all the radiation spill out.
Right. Okay. That's that for the interview. That means we get to go into MogMail, everyone. It's time for MogMail. That's right. We can read MogMail until our butts fall off.
The moggiest of mail.
The moggiest of mail. Here it comes. In a second. Here it is. MogMail. Oh yeah, this one isn't in the show notes, but I might as well read this because wait, did we read this last time? I think we did. This is the one I wanted. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is from Cletus Oreo from Shiva. This is just about the PS5 thing. Hi, speakers. Just a quick note on the reduction in file. Because remember, we talked this. Okay. Outdated information here because we talked about this like months ago, but just a quick note on the reduction in file size on the PlayStation 5 version of the game. Sadly, it's unlikely that this massive saving is due to the removal of mountains of spaghetti. Instead, it is likely to be due to the Oodle Kraken compression technology used by PS5 optimized games to reduce file sizes. There have been other recent stories of file size savings, such as Control Ultimate Edition, which is 25 gigabytes on the PS5 and 42 on the Xbox. Calm talker and all-around good guy Mark Cerny. Oh, I love him. Talked about this during the same tech presentation that he covered. That he covered the 3D audio. Yeah, that was. I've talked about his like presentation before. I love that presentation. The PS5. He talks like this throughout the whole thing, and he's like, so he know. Oh, you're gonna this, oh God. Okay. Yeah. I love that one. Yeah. So there you go. We talked about the size being shrunk for the PS5. And we speculated that maybe that meant some spaghetti was being removed from the game in the patch, but yeah, it is just the compression technology for the PS5.
The PS5 compresses spaghetti so good.
Yeah. Compressed spaghetti is my favorite. Okay.
Isn't that just a pasta sheet?
That's true. You can make lasagna. Okay. Next, thank you, Cletus, for clarification. This one's from Marissa from Typhon. Hello. I wondered about the Garuda cutscene where Sid sees. Oh yeah, where Sid sees in his past, and Warrior of Light gives him the cool goggles, as he likes to brag about in JP. Google Reddit gave no answers, and given that you guys are my second-hand Google senseis when it comes to 1.0, can you answer me two things? Please relieve me from the questionable cutscene, how this makes sense, and what the hell happened in 1.0 so that we supposedly gave him goggles. And on the other question, or more so, a questionable remark. After he got the goggles, he looks up at the moon. So, are we originally from the moon? Are these trollers really right? The moon was rather close to the Earth, It looks like a void moon. Warrior Flight did sprinkle out of the sky and out of the blue, but this made me question questionable suggestions. Please relieve my paranoia. Much love. XOXO. Okay, well...
If you weren't playing in 1.0, that Warrior of Light in that cutscene is not you, despite the fact that it uses you.
Yeah.
I think it is a metaphor.
It is a metaphor that is very poorly explained. It's supposed to just be like a moment where he's like, he realizes who he is, and you are. It's just like a bad cutscene.
It's like the cave from the Star Wars. With
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, it was him.
Yeah.
There you go.
It doesn't really mean what you think it means. It's a bizarre cutscene.
And if I remember correctly, this is a cutscene that infuriates Mela.
Yeah, Mela is so angry. It's like every time you can tell that he gets like aggressive when we talk about it. He's like, hey, someone explain it to me. And I'm like, we can't, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. That's the answer. The cutscene doesn't make any sense because they were trying to show you some like a metaphor, but it didn't work. So that's
it seems so literal because everything else is very like literal in this game. Like it's your character is you. And you're doing you stuff. But here it's like no, this is like you're bringing back his self. Or something.
Has nothing to do with. It is not. Yeah. So try to forget that cutscene. Just don't think about it anymore. And the moon is just the moon. There's at that point in the story, that was just a nice visual for a scene that was already way out there. So,
not that they didn't have plans for the moon, but I don't think that was their intention in that scene.
No.
Just be looking cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There might have been maybe the moon was put in there because of the event prior. Dalamud used to be around Menfina, so maybe that was supposed to be.
That's true.
Yeah. So there you go. That's all we can say about that. And you're bringing up 1.0. This isn't a 1.0 thing at all. It's just a weird A Realm Reborn thing. Okay. Thank you, Arissa. I hope we have relieved your paranoia. And we move on to the next question.
Enhanced it.
Yeah, you might have made it worse. Yeah. All right. Next question by Dia Lancia from Adamantois. One of the coolest things about the recent patch has been overlooked, it seems. We heard that they were planning on updating the collision stuff in the game, and I think I found out why. Without spoiling, in 5.5 a certain piece of zone scenery changed. However, unlike past changes to the scenery, such as Specula Imperatoris and the peaks, the collision of said object actually changed, making it possible to fly where this object had once been, instead of it being replaced by something that has a similar structure. I double-checked on New Game Plus to make sure the collision had changed too. Now that it is seemingly possible to change the collision of certain objects in the game, depending on progress, where do you think this could be used next? We've sort of touched on this before, because we obviously noticed that this had happened. To
be more precise, we're talking about Tiamat.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So when Tiamat disappears, the collision data changes as well. So if you have not done that quest, and you let's say you've done the quest, but your friend has not. Your friend just seemingly flying in the air, and then suddenly just bumps into something, gets stuck in the air. That's them bumping into Tiamat. Yes.
Oh, I did. Okay, I thought you would just like face through it on their screen.
No, I'm pretty sure. No. Your friend has not done the quest, right? So they bump into Tiamat.
So if they're riding pillion on your mount,
ooh, I don't know how that works. Do they go through?
So I can say this: in Raktika, there is a wall.
Yes.
That prevents you from going to the right side of the map until they clear it for story reasons.
Yeah.
You will fly
if someone is riding pillion, they will fly through it with you if they are riding pillion on your mount.
Oh,
I do not know if this applies to Tiamat.
I would almost assume it's the same tech, so it probably would. You probably would go through.
I think in like Bosnia, if you try going with like someone riding pillion and you're trying to go through like the gates, for the new bases, and they don't have it unlocked, I think they just get like dismounted like instantly.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense because that's like progression, like real, like that would break the game if you could do that. Okay.
Where would I like them to see them use it next? The obvious answer is Ishgard.
Yeah. To fix up Ishgard would be nice. I would see. It actually opens up so many possibilities. Like they can make permanent changes to the map, and make it change only for progression. Like technically, I mean, they would have to do it in within a certain scope. They can't like do like Middle Enosia is a crater now. They can't do that because that would look very strange for people that haven't done that part. People disappearing under the ground and shit would be weird.
Maybe they'll do it for like Favnir, because doesn't it get like blown up?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
so I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely some things in Stormblood that I'd like them to retroactively have them add it to. I unfortunately don't think they will, but there are a few gates in particularly Girabanian zones that never open up. They're just like a little. You get one of those interact things like, "Can you take me to the?"
Oh
other
yeah.
And then,
oh god.
I would like them to actually just replace them, but I don't think they'll do it. It'd be neat if they did.
Yeah. That's a good point. Old Mordona and Idleshire could benefit from this technology, but that would require them to actually go back and like, because Mordona is more difficult because I don't know how they would do that.
Mordona it was like a couple tents, or something.
Yeah, just a couple of tents and an aetherite. That was it, and a gravel path. That was it. I don't know if they will ever be able to implement that properly, considering how it looks now.
There's the gate in the southwest of Gridania that takes you to the upper half of Central Shroud. It'd be neat if they change it into just like a zone divider rather than having to talk to that man.
Is that White Wolf Gate, I think? Yeah,
I think it's White Wolf Gate.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. Weird choice, too, to have that system. Like, we have to talk to someone to go through a door. But it was to, like, level gate you, wasn't it, originally? So you had
it was to level gate you. They didn't want They didn't want low-level people to be able to go to an area with just, like, level 30 enemies.
Right. It's weird that they just didn't have a... Well, it shows you how far we've come since A Realm Reborn, because nowadays I feel like they could have solved that with just having a quest flag, and once you've done that quest, you have that flag, that door now opens when you approach it. They probably couldn't do that in A Realm Reborn, because they're like, what the fuck are these tools? What do we do with this? Okay. That's like a... I feel like this is a different discussion altogether, but with all the influx of people playing A Realm Reborn now, there's a lot of complaints. All the complaints are coming in for A Realm Reborn now. Like the people that just started playing like A Realm Reborn, they have reached that point where you start to feel the fatigue of A Realm Reborn around the level 30 mark, which is where, you've unlocked your job. That's exciting. But the MSQ suddenly starts grinding to like a slog. And even they've like fixed up 30%, but that isn't enough.
It was not at all.
No. And people are now starting to be like, oh, the pacing has just stopped. Like there's nothing happening in the story. You're just,
And Company of Heroes.
Yeah, the Company of Heroes shit that no one cares about.
Yeah. Get the cheese.
Hit the rock with like the guy in the with the hat. God, it's so stupid. So I know that they probably, I don't know if they're ever gonna fix it again, but because I feel like they put a lot of effort into cutting down the 30%, like the 30% that they did. But it really shows that A Realm Reborn, even before imagine before 30%. Like, we tried playing A Realm Reborn from the start to do it before they cut the 30% out. What level did I at some point I'm like, I can't do this. I don't even think we were level 30. We were like in Quarry Mill or whatever we were in that stream.
I forgot about that playthrough.
Yeah, because that's where I started to feel, oh yikes, we haven't even reached the point where it starts grinding to a halt. We were like, because I knew it was coming, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't want this.
You guys are reading everything out loud, which is like
there's that
50% slower.
Yeah, there's that too. I just, at some point, and it's gonna be a long time until next time, but maybe like 7 or 8.0, maybe they'll go back again. Because at that point, it's rough. I see all the criticism, and I'm like, you know what? I can't even fight them on that. Like, that's
right.
real. I know.
But just get through it. It's still
but that's,
enjoyable.
yeah, people say, like, get through it. It's worth it when you get to the end. And it is. But I always feel like that's such a... That doesn't help you when you're in there. You're like, yeah, but I still have to get through this, though.
So, I know a lot of people have been complaining. I've also seen a lot of people saying that A Realm Reborn isn't as bad as everyone makes it out to be as well.
That's what I heard as well. But then I realized they were still like below level 30. Because now that they're reaching the point of like where the brakes are being applied hardcore, that's when they're like, oh no, what's happening? I've especially been paying attention to what's his name? There's Bellular. He talked about that. Like, the pacing of A Realm Reborn is really off because you get you get this false feeling of like, it's you start the game and you think everyone says this is shit, so I'll give it a chance, and you're like, wait, this isn't shit. This is all right. This is fine. You're doing, the city-state quest, and then you become an envoy. You do the 3 dungeons like in rapid succession. You're like, wow, shit's happening. You go to Thanalan. You start with Scion stuff. There's some awkward voice acting, of course. Then you do Ifrit. It's like, whoa, shit. And then it starts to really be like, okay, we hit Ifrit. Yeah.
It picks up when you start doing Garuda stuff, though.
Yeah, it picks up again there. But there's that gap in between there that's really...
at least you don't have to do the fucking the XP gap. Like, where you're like, okay, I did the story. I'm 2 levels behind.
Yeah. I have to say, though, that I appreciate what they've done with, for instance, when you pick your grand company, you just get the seals that you need to unlock the chocobo.
Oh,
yeah, you get them. That's like a quest completion thing. However, the quest completion is done in the Waking Sands, so you have to go back to your grand company thing after that to get the chocobo license, which is a little stupid. But
Pray return.
Pray return, yeah. But you get the tickets now, so you can just use a ticket and you just
that's right.
teleport to the Waking Sands. So stuff like that is good. I like that.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I went on this tangent, but oh yeah, because of what we want to see in the future. What I really want to see in the future is a better A Realm Reborn, but hey, one can dream. I mean, it's better than it's ever been. That's one thing. If there's one thing I would want them to do, is to redo all of the cutscenes. That's my dream, because that voice acting is not good.
Actually, you know what? I'd like it if they had quest sharing, especially for A Realm Reborn. Because I feel like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, let's play together," and it's like,
yeah,
I guess we're by ourselves for a little while.
Yeah, I agree. There's also this really awkward thing about, remember at some point, I think it's level 10 or 15, they make this big deal out of you unlocking leave quests.
Yeah.
And guild tests.
But I think specifically leave quests, because you unlock the leave, they're like, leave quests, or leave quests now available. And you're like, okay. what are leave quests? They never really mention it again. And then if you go pick up the unlock quest, they're like, oh yeah, complete this guy's leave quest. Every time I've seen people pick up that quest, they're like, what the fuck is this? Why am I doing this?
It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Let me tell you, I think it'd be going in fresh to this game by yourself with like no one, like not looking up any guides, not having anyone that you know that played the game to kind of help you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like going in totally like fresh.
Yeah.
This game's fucking weird and kind of hard to get into.
Yeah.
Because like you'll be like, all right, I'm questing. Okay, a blue quest that unlocks something I probably want to do.
Yeah.
Oh look, if it doesn't burn or whatever.
Yeah.
Ifrit, extreme quest.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
Yeah.
Let me queue up for Ifrit Extreme. Yeah, because it's just like everything else.
Yeah. That's true. God, would
I
be
will say,
terrifying.
Ifrit Extreme is doable. We did it.
That's
No, it
We
is.
did
But
it. No.
queuing-
Yeah, but you're queuing it. It is not synced. I mean, it's not eye level synced.
no.
We accidentally went into it once when we were like, oh, we did it.
Yeah.
And then we realized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well-
we helped that old man with Coil.
old man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, back in my day, those weren't blue quests, so you didn't even know what the fuck you were doing if you were unlocking anything at
No.
all. That was complete
Yeah.
chaos.
But don't forget, you have to get the challenge logs because
Oh,
people
yeah.
just go through this game without the challenge
I
log,
know.
which
I
is
know.
insane.
So I think I've told this story before. So I've been playing with one friend since launch, and until the release of Squadrons, he had never unlocked challenges because the game never tells you to do it.
It doesn't.
No.
It's just a blue quest. I'm like, what, Lenosha somewhere?
Yeah.
Limsa?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so crazy. You gotta have someone to tell you to do this, or like look up a video.
Technically,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He
Let me
didn't
just do
realize because he's like, how do I get new squadron members? And like, well, you have to do challenges and challenge like that. What's that?
Well, to be fair, the game does have this like what to do next thing when you log in, and I do believe the challenge log thing appears in there at some point. If you,
Ah,
But we
okay.
didn't used to have that.
we didn't know. Again, used to be chaos. So yeah.
Actually, you know what? I had something funny too. A friend of mine who's been playing since Heaven's Word has never unlocked hunts until I told him to, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god.
I was like, yeah, like let's do our daily hunts for some extra XP, you know, to get you level up. He's like, what's that? What? I'm like,
Yeah. I can see how you can how you can like not play the whole game without ever unlocking hunts, because that's again another thing that's just never. They never make a point of hunts, do they?
oh,
Especially in A Realm Reborn.
Mm-hmm.
And then like imagine also being like, okay, let's do this other. I just hit level 60. I'm gonna do this blue quest.
Yeah.
It's something related to Alex. Is that like a quick thing, or is that like,
Yeah.
dude, like what's going on here? And then it's like now you're roped into this thing that you didn't know was
Yeah.
released over the course of like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you try to do it all in one sitting, and it's like it's so crazy. Like you'd be so overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to tell a friend that's like, okay, you're doing Omega, take your time. You could just do 4,
Yeah.
like a week, and then okay, you go.
Oh, that's true. You can't even unlock hunts until you've leveled up in your grand company. You need to be a certain
Yeah.
rank. That's another whole system that is completely like what you pick your grand company and you just I guess it mentions what rank you are, but then never really mentioned again. So that's your job to figure out how that system works. So good luck with that. Yeah.
I like the bone that they throw us every now and then of, you're ranked up in your grand company.
Yeah.
You're a storm captain now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Also the fact that you can fly in the Realm Reborn Stones is a good thing for new players. I can't even.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you unlock that after like the level 50 quest, right? After Castrum.
You unlock it
Or
after you complete
Praetorium.
the MSQ, but you still got it for 2.1 through 2.5.
Oh,
so
that's true.
still a
So
lot
yeah, the
to-
patch story. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyways, that was a mess of an answer, but I feel like
Absolutely.
you got something out of it. I hope. Dialancia. C in English is the bane of my existence because it is sometimes seemingly completely random how you pronounce it, and it is driving me nuts.
You need to know where the word comes from.
What?
You just need to know where the word comes from.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know that, and then
No, you
you
don't.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Anyways, next question is coming in from Ubi. Ubi, we don't have a visual for that, so that's good.
Oh, okay.
You know
Yeah,
what?
Ubi.
Just to make it feel like we're going into a new question, I'll just play the intro again. Okay, so this is from Kunal Raha from Brynhilder. Hello, Speaks. That's what the cool kids.
Cool kills.
The cool kids call us. I want to bring up the topic of asset reusage in 14. I know it's a normal part of game development, and even more so in something like an MMO. However, I've started to wonder if there was something limiting creation of new assets for the Shadowbringers patch cycle. Fewer dungeons.
I wonder.
Fewer dungeons, no deep dungeon, 2 relic areas instead of 4 in Eureka, Unreal Trials, multiple Bahamut reskins, Lunar Ifrit, Eden Primals have new models but still share effects, textures, near raids are mostly assets from Automata, etc. Turncliffe and Bosnia solo duty stand out as unique new areas, but I can't think of many besides. Are they really that development heavy? Maybe Square's 3D artists are mostly working on 16. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm curious to hear if it's something you've noticed as well. Thank you. Well, thanks. We've talked about this relatively recently about reusing assets. It is interesting how it seems to go up more. I mean, it makes sense as well because they have more assets to reuse. As they they introduce one new asset, and I've always said if they've made a unique asset, there's no way they're not going to reuse it at some point. That is too valuable. Like it's an asset. So I don't know. I don't know if we can. Is it because people are working on 16? I don't think so. 14 has its own development team, so it shouldn't be affected by that.
I think the reuse of assets has been pretty consistent, and I don't even think it's pretty glaring or anything. Like, and then sometimes, like a lot of times, you'll see a mono, like you won't even realize it's a reuse asset.
Right. Yeah.
Like Omega, that we just recently found out it uses the fucking frog skeleton. Or
yeah,
whatever.
That's true.
Or like what's the one boss from Omega, the big blue man, from 4, the tree.
Oh, yeah. Oh, X-Death.
From 5.
No,
X-Death.
X-Death.
Yeah, X-Death.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't. I mean, maybe you might get.
You
it.
understand it when you've been told. You're like, okay, yeah, obviously that is him. But
and it's stuff like gear too. Like even when Heavensward came out, a lot of gear was like recolored gear.
Yeah, it was.
I think it's consistent. So
there's one thing that I want them to stop doing, and that is to stop reusing assets that are very obvious. Like Ravana. You have to stop. You have to stop reusing the Ravana one because that is just Ravana. No matter how many color combinations you put on them or how much glow you put on them, I know it's Ravana. Stop. It's too unique looking.
Umbra, you're right. Fucking Kukulin. Every time you see Kukulin.
Oh, yeah.
He was like in 3 times in Shadowbringers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
He's the big toothpaste man.
The big two-faced man?
Toothpaste.
Man? Oh, toothpaste man. Oh, yeah, the big toothpaste man. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's definitely a few that stand out, but I don't know. It's never really been much of a bother, and it makes sense.
I'm so used to it now that I don't really think it's not reached a point where it's annoying because they still do a really good job at masking the skeleton, the rig.
I mean, there's still a lot of unique stuff too. Like A lot of trials, like new expansion trials, like in the base expansion.
Yeah.
A lot of them are mostly just unique stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of, especially the ones that are based on like female models, are very unclear as to what they are. For example, the the second last boss in Delubrum is Shiva.
Yes. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true. I don't know if
We had the Gundam. Like the Gundam, that's crazy. I mean, it's just the I think it's just the teacher thing from Rita Rana, Lighthouse, the robot.
yeah.
What's his face? I think it's you using that.
Construct?
But
Construct.
Construct, yeah. I think it's based on
The
that
teacher?
loosely.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call him.
He teaches me math.
Horrible.
He forces math upon me.
I don't. But okay, so essentially, I think it is better that they reuse. I think when they draw like a monster or an enemy design or any character design, I don't think they go, oh, it needs this rig when they design it. They probably look at the design and then someone goes, I think that can fit on that rig. And then they will use that rig. But if it doesn't fit a rig, they'll make one. I think that's how they work. Remember, when an asset is made into the game, it exists in the game. It's an asset that they can easily pull out, reskin, and just put in without bloating it. Because if they added a rig for every fucking enemy every time, we would have a massive game. So
Yeah.
my whole set is falling apart. It is complete. It's so hot in here right now. It's probably like 30 plus degrees in here. And the
Wow. Is your computer just heating up the place?
yeah, because I have to close the windows and turn off all the fans and there's nothing running.
Yeah.
There's all air is completely still in here. So the adhesive on all my lights are literally melting. So that's why it's falling off right now. It's very hot. Anyways,
Chat's bringing up the false idol being Cloud of Darkness. I think that's particularly obvious because they are both the final boss of their raid series.
Yeah.
They're as for pulling assets from other games, like it just makes sense too. It's already done.
Yeah.
Like the models still look good. Like Kefka was he looked good.
Yeah.
Particularly with models from 12, 13, Nier Automata, Dissidia, they're relatively like usable in our game.
It kind of just makes sense, like Rollo said. It just makes sense. If you have it, you have it. So just use it.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more 15 models, to be honest. But I'm sure that will happen with time.
Yeah,
This wasn't just about models, though. It was also about content.
Yes, but there, I feel like, so, yes. Wonder if there's something limiting creation of new assets for the Shadowbringers patch cycle.
So,
yeah.
I think the Eureka to the Bosnian comparison is not as bad as people think it is, because for Eureka, 4 zones, and then there was, what's the dungeon thing called in
Valdesian Arsenal?
Valdesian Arsenal.
Yeah.
This time...
Valdesian. Sorry, I mispronounced that so badly.
Valdesian Arsenal.
This time, we have 2 zones. We have Delubrum Regine, we have Lacus Latore and the Dauriada, and we also have the unique instance that starts the questline as well. So there's actually quite a few unique like zones that were created for this when you think about it.
That instance, by the way,
the production value in it is like crazy high for something you're gonna use once. Like I saw it and I was like, okay, we're gonna come here often because this is like, and we don't.
No,
it's so crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I think the only thing I have to say about the Eureka zones compared to Bosnia is that there's more in them. Like there's more design in the zones. Bosnia is drab, brown and gray most of the time with very few assets in there. But that's the only thing Eureka has going for it. And I agree with what you said. There's more. I feel like there's more unique content in Bosnia overall.
I feel like, for the most part, the reduction in the amount of like things we have in game has mostly coincided with like an increase in quality
Yeah.
of a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not exactly everything, especially when it comes to dungeons. 'Cause I feel like
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like you could make one more dungeon
Yeah.
patch.
Yeah.
We-
yeah, I
I
agree.
think they can manage 7 like Stormblood.
Mm.
Yeah. It's this is like a problem, and I've been worried about it for a while. Is the way that they keep cutting. That's like we get one less thing, but we get something else. But if you look at the something else that we get, it's usually not that great. Like we got the what is it? The
Unreal Trials.
Unreal Trials. Was that really worth it?
I mean, it's
I-
neat, I guess.
I think a lot of people like them, but I
Is
don't
it
know
worth-
these people, so maybe I'm imagining it.
Is it worth one less dungeon?
It's weird to say because like, okay, like loot, like reducing Eureka areas from Bosnia, you can kind of see like, all right, this like you can see the quality increasing and changing from there, whatever. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But, like with dungeons, it's like okay, you get one less dungeon. Like you can't really say where it goes.
No.
You know,
Mhm.
like
Actually,
I mean,
we can. They have told us where that goes. It goes
Oh,
into
did
the
they?
Trust AI.
fuck the trust. I don't use that. I'm done with that.
Yeah, because they need to need to essentially program the trusts for every boss each time they make a new dungeon.
That kind of sucks.
I would say about the Unreal thing as well is that Unreal isn't even new content. It's not even adjusted in terms of mechanics. It's the fight, but it's just boosted in HP and damage output. That's all Unreal is, if we're gonna strip it apart. And that was touted as like, guys, we have this new exciting content coming, this expansion. Here it is.
Called it new because I think they said it was something that everyone requested.
Who requested that?
I think people requested just being able to use their skills in any content.
Yeah,
no matter the level.
I think this was a monkey paw thing again. So I think
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the other monkey paw thing about it is why is it time locked so
Yeah.
that it goes away
Yeah,
after a
but-
patch?
yeah.
Why is there fear of missing out for a reused extreme,
Yeah.
an old one? And I mean, there's no real. I guess you don't really miss anything by not doing it because there'll be another one,
Mm-hmm.
and you get the same rewards pretty much. You know, it's like,
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we got Ishgard Restoration, I guess. I mean, that's a
Yeah, that's true.
success, and I think that was good content. So, I mean, we get some bad, we get some good. I still don't think dungeons should have suffered for it, though. That's
just one more.
I-
Yeah.
I know people don't like
because
dungeons that much.
it really makes expert roulette even more unbearable than it
Yeah.
should be. Because
They seem to think that dungeons aren't interesting.
well, they've made it that way, haven't they? By releasing one per patch. It's like you don't want to run an expert roulette when there's a fucking.
No, but they seem to think this. They seem to think this back in Stormblood as well.
I know they've always touted this. They're like, "Oh yeah, no one likes dungeons." It's like, what are you on about?
It's fun. Like variety's nice. It's
Yeah.
fun to be like, oh, I got the dungeon that's different. I don't know.
I know. I understand the hard mode argument. Is that I kind of liked hard mode. And
Yeah,
I like hard modes as well.
Yeah, that they took a dungeon and they changed it around. And I mean, even though hard mode isn't like it's not hard mode. It's just different mode. But it was still. I thought that was quite fun. But
Yeah, and it's like it made sense because you're reusing some assets.
Yeah.
you're sprucing up a little bit. Maybe like change.
Yeah.
You get to see some lore as things progress in this area
Yeah.
too. Like Fractal Continuum Hard. That shit's dope.
yeah,
That's so
Yeah, it's
cool.
really cool.
yeah.
Now it's like, well, now we're gonna get anything like that in the
No.
dungeon at least.
No.
And I like how they sometimes have unique mechanics. There's in St. Lucian Arboretum's hard mode, you have to wash the enemies so that they become weaker.
Yes. Yeah. And you get to hear like music like remixed as well, usually in the hard mode
Yeah.
dungeons, which is
Well,
cool.
it's a shame that the last hard mode dungeon we got had a bad remix.
True. That's true.
What was the
Okay,
last one?
I understand. We are
It
talking.
was St. Mosian Arboretum hard mode.
I see
Oh.
a lot of people talking about how when you've played the game for a long time, dungeons are boring. Okay.
I like the variety.
But what is
I-
this
I-
game then? What are you doing
And-
this? What?
And dungeons may be boring, but you need to do the expert roulette at least every tome patch, so at least make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. If you want to do like instance content in this game, there's dungeons, alliance raids, and trials primarily, and then raids
And normal raids.
Yeah. Dungeons is like the most normal thing to do in an MMO. I don't know why, and that's I don't know. It's weird. What if they one day were like, no more dungeons. All MSQ will have instance duties instead, right? So there's no more dungeons being added. Would people be sad about that, or would we still be like, no, that's fine. I'm so tired of dungeons anyway. I don't know. It's a weird. People that say they don't like dungeons, I find that to be odd in an MMORPG.
I think there's like enough like you can really optimize in a dungeon if you really pay attention to some stuff. And I really like trying to find those like little secrets of like you stand right here, you get the vulnerability debuff on the enemies, or like or if you do the gorilla fucking thing in Rectica, or whatever it's called in that dungeon. That stuff's cute. I mean, I wish it was more of it, and I do wish in general dungeons were more interesting and varied. But that's still I can still lament having more dungeons and also want more interesting dungeons.
Yeah. I don't like that dungeons are suffering because we have to get stuff like Unreal Trials. I think that's what gives it a sour note for me. Yeah.
And dungeons, they can make interesting dungeons. Look back on A Realm Reborn. Remember Farah Sirius at launch?
Oh.
At 2.1 launch?
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, I don't know if that's the best example. Completely destroyed the expert roulette. It was the first time as a healer I had to stand because no one dared use the expert roulette because they thought they were going to get Farah Sirius. So I had to wait as a healer for like over 30 minutes to get in for an expert roulette. Yeah.
I think you get some. Sorry, go.
Make you go, Rollo?
Go on, Rollo.
I think you get some interesting stuff though in later dungeons. Like, I mean, they're a little bit more difficult, which is a nice change of pace. Kind of like the Burn, the Mist Dragon, that was kind of tough at launch.
Yeah.
Like it was same thing with the Vault.
Yeah.
The fucking chair Burt. It's fucking kill you. And the Airy, the final boss there, is slightly tough.
When you get a good dungeon, that's like you remember that for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's a lot of bad ones. I mean, there's been a lot of. We've had a few stinkers, but there's so many good ones as well.
Yeah. And you're gonna dislike more than you like, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's just a natural thing. You're gonna dislike more.
And of course, you've run these so many times through all the roulettes, so of course. But yeah.
And I feel like the last time I really enjoyed the expert roulette was actually like 4.5, where I really enjoyed all 3 dungeons that were in the expert roulette.
That was
which one?
Hell's Lid?
No, that's not 4.5. It was It was the Burn. It was Mosian hard mode, and it was what's it called? As Gimlet Dal.
Oh yeah. That was a good one. Yeah.
Whereas this time, this 5.5, I feel like I have barely done the expert roulette at all.
Yeah. I hated fucking. Was it 5.1 when we had the Cosmos in the fucking expert roulette?
People hated that.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
It was 5.1 and 5.2.
Yeah.
That the Cosmos was in the expert roulette.
2 patches. You had to be like, there's a 1 in 3 chance you'd get the fucking Cosmos.
Well, in 5.2, it's a 1 in 2 chance, actually.
Oh, yeah. Fucked up.
It was Grand Cosmos or Academia, not Academia, sorry, Anamnesis Anida.
Yeah. Fucked up. Last dungeon you have disliked. Can you remember?
The last dungeon I disliked. Sorry, Roller?
Academia. I hated doing it. I was like doing expert on lots of Shadowbringers. I'm like, cool. I'm either gonna get the twinning, which is amazing. That dungeon's still one of my favorites, especially with the song too. Or Amarat, which is dope. It's just cool.
Yeah.
And then fucking Academia. I hate it so much. I don't like being there.
Well, for me, it's definitely Grand Cosmos.
Controversial. Probably the Hero's Gauntlet.
You've said you didn't like that before.
You know what?
Yeah.
I support that. I don't think it was as good as people hyped it up to be.
I find all the enemies really boring.
Yeah. They're all like the same
They'll-
glowy.
They all
things.
just be people.
Yeah, they all just be people.
But I like looking up close at them. Be like, oh, it's like a Final Fantasy.
I do like that
older
they all
character.
have different outfits, but I feel like the glow makes it difficult to tell that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I will say about the Grand Cosmos, by the way, is that I really liked it. There's one of those dungeons where you like it the first time you go in, because I like the idea that they had this like really massive like palace, and it's so massive you had to like run through like rooms that were just empty, and I like the ballroom scene. It's very like Disneyland Haunted Mansion bullshit, but
Yeah.
when you get that on your roulette for like the 10th time, that's
It's too big.
yeah, it's too big.
It's nice to explore. It's not nice to run.
Okay, well there you go. We need to wrap up here. Dia Lancia, thank you for the question. Thank you to everyone who sent in MogMail. Remember, you can send in MogMail at speakersxiv.com/MogMail. We'll most likely read some more next week.
That was Kanal Raha, by the way, for the question.
Oh, sorry, Kanal Raha. Sorry, that was the previous question. I'd scrolled up accidentally. Kanal Raha, thank you for your question. All right. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Remember, post show is coming up after this if you're watching live. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHeidland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, links in the description. Cerulean Reactor episode 3 will be out on Speaker's Place on Monday, so it will be out by the time you're watching this on YouTube. That's youtube.com/SpeakersPlace. Send MogMail, SpeakersXIV.com/MogMail. Going into post show now. See you there, and if not, see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.